on the Bandrew Says podcast, we'll be discussing Pewdiepie being Shadowban, Twitch, DMCA takedown requests, and a whole lot more, so go ahead and stick around.
I have to say that finally I understand why people like to wear masks, because wearing this mask makes me feel like a cool cat or a kitten. Meow. Let me know if you know what movie this is from, though. Want to know what you think of that. Let's jump right into the news. We're going to talk about Pewdiepie being shadow banned over the last week. And I will warn you up front, put on your tinfoil hat, because later in this story, we're going full nut job. I suppose we should start with discussing what shadow banning is. Essentially, on YouTube, that means that your channel still exists, they continue to host your videos, but it is very difficult to find your channel, find the content, or access the content. They do not promote it, they do not send it to your subscribers. It's like it doesn't exist, but it does exist on the platform. Well, over the last week, this exact thing happened to Pewdiepie. At this time, it has been resolved, but for a short period, his channel was essentially shadow banned. Normally, what happens when you search for a channel on YouTube is the first thing that shows up will be a link to the channel that you searched for. Directly beneath that, you will see a list of videos that are recently uploaded from that channel, and then you'll see general results, general search results, whether it be videos from that specific channel or videos from other channels discussing that channel, interviews with that person, or anything of the like. But this last week, when I searched for Pewdiepie, I did not get this result. I did not see a link directly to his channel. I did not see recent activity for his channel. And the only results that came back in the general search results for his channel were a video from 1 year ago and a video from 4 years ago. So it was very difficult to see what he had been uploading recently, and it was difficult to navigate to his channel. If you don't use YouTube a lot, you may not know how to navigate to his channel. And the most interesting thing about this shadow ban situation is how it affected his most recent upload. I don't know what came first, if he was shadow banned and then he uploaded a video, or if he uploaded a video and then he was shadow banned. But regardless, when he uploaded this video, within the first hour, he only got 40,000 views. For a lot of us, that sounds amazing. Oh my gosh, 40,000 views in an hour? That's tremendous. Felix typically gets about 500,000 in 1 hour. His views for that video decreased by 90%, over 90%. His video was dead. His channel was dead because of this shadow ban, and there is no explanation why. But as I already mentioned, this has been resolved. Felix's channel is back to normal. It seems like the distribution of his videos is back to normal, and we don't really have an answer from YouTube as to why this happened. The only public statement that they made about this came from YouTube Gaming, and they said, "We are hearing reports that Pewdiepie's channel and some videos are not surfacing within searches. We are currently working on fixing the issue. We are sorry for any inconvenience this has caused." And that is all the information that we have from YouTube regarding this shadow banning of Pewdiepie's channel. A lot of people, I'm sure, are thinking, oh, it's just a glitch, it's a bug. What kind of bug? What kind of glitch? Is it a tool that they were testing out? We'll get to that. Let's jump to a story that you may be thinking, this is so unrelated, what does this have to do with Felix and Pewdiepie? I don't know. And this story comes from NBC News. They say, Google said Friday it would stop allowing political ads for an undetermined period of time after polls close November 3rd in anticipation of possible confusion or civil unrest while votes are counted and election results are finalized. While this policy is in place, advertisers will not be able to run ads referencing candidates, the election, or its outcome, given that an unprecedented amount of votes will be counted after Election Day this year. Google is invoking an established section of its advertising policies related to quote-unquote sensitive events. The policy limits ads when they would threaten to capitalize on a natural disaster or other emergency without providing a discernible benefit to users. Google said it was unsure how long the ban would last. we will carefully examine a number of factors before deciding to lift this policy for advertisers and share updates as we have them. At this point, if you do have a tinfoil hat, go ahead and toss that sucker on. If you got a pair of springy jumping boots, throw those on, or maybe if you have a pair of PF flyers guaranteed to make you run faster and jump higher, toss those suckers on because you're going to need this because it's going to get crazy. The aliens are coming for your brain, and gosh darn it, if it ain't a leap, it's a leap. It's a big old leap. So get those springy jumping boots on. We have seen Facebook announce, and I'm aware Facebook, Google, different companies, but I believe there are similar thought processes going on in both companies. We have seen Facebook announce that they will not allow a candidate to announce that they are the victor. They will not allow somebody to make a post saying this person won or this person won after the election until all of the votes have been counted. And the reason why I think they have a similar thought process is Facebook has also said they are going to be banning political ads, I think a week before, up through the election and until the time that the election has actually been concluded and the votes have been tallied and a winner has been selected or announced. So here's where it gets a little bit crazy. What if Google is following suit of Facebook and they are planning on limiting the distribution of not just political advertisements, but political content that is dictating or disclosing or stating who the winner of the election is? Because if they think that a political ad saying this person is the winner or this person is the winner is going to cause civil unrest, wouldn't they also be thinking, I guess a regular video saying that would also cause civil unrest? Or do they think that somebody watching an ad will say, I am so mad this advertisement says that this person won, I cannot believe it. But if they see a regular video, oh, that sounds perfectly reasonable. No. If they think a political ad stating person X, Y, or Z has won the election will cause civil unrest, they must inevitably think that a regular video stating that person X, Y, or Z has won the election would also cause civil unrest. So here is my theory. They are testing a tool to see how this little switch could affect the distribution of content that they don't want to be seen, that they don't want to be sent out there. They don't want to outright ban these channels because then you'll hear everybody screaming, my free speech. But they don't want to be promoting and pushing content that they believe will cause civil unrest. At this point, I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, well, what about Pewdiepie? This is about Pewdiepie being shadow banned. What the hell does this have to do with the US election? He's not even in the US. Exactly, my friends. Therein lies the brilliance of YouTube's plan here. By doing this, by testing this shadow ban technique on Pewdiepie, not only is nobody in this entire world crazy enough or dumb enough to draw a line between point A and point B and say, aha, they tested a shadow ban on Pewdiepie, it's because of the election. Nobody is that dumb. But also, Pewdiepie is large enough to get a really good sample size, a really good data set of how this will in fact affect the distribution of the video and how quickly it will take their audience to understand what has happened and start screaming at them about it. So to wrap up my little theory and tie it up in a little bow, I don't think that Pewdiepie was ever intended to be outright shadow banned or banned as a whole. I think they may have just used him as a test because he has a large enough following to get a good idea of how it would affect 5 million views over a day. Now they know they can limit those views by over 90%. And if they think those views would lead to civil unrest, hey, they're going to feel perfectly justified in clicking shadow ban on Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, the Young Turks, a bunch of left-leaning people, Destiny, all of them. They're all going to get shadow banned if they say, this person won. Oh, this person won. YouTube, you didn't say the magic word. I think that's what it is. I don't think I tied it up in a nice little bow, but it's fun. Also, I don't think I should have to remind you, but I'm going to anyways. Do not take what I am saying seriously. I am just having a good time trying to make sense of everything that's happening in the world. That's why I like conspiracy theories. They're stupid. They are not accurate, they are not correct. It's a fun way of telling a story. Do not take what I'm saying as serious, okay? Understood? Good. Glad we're on the same page. Now let's go ahead and jump over to the Twitch DMCA notices. It seems over the past year, streamers on Twitch have been getting an increasing number of DMCA takedown requests or notices where their VODs will get taken down. If you don't know, DMCA stands for Digital Millennium Copyright Act. If I'm remembering correctly, it essentially gives copyright holders the right to submit takedown requests of content that they hold the copyright to. And that has been happening on Twitch for quite some time now. I don't really want to spend a bunch of time talking about the logistics of it, any of that. I don't think that's interesting. What I want to do is take this moment to offer a PSA, a public service announcement. If you do not own the copyright to music, movies, or any piece of art, it would behoove you. It would be a good idea to not include that in your stream, your podcast, your video, your creation, anything. If you do not own the copyright to the material that you are using in your content production, you are open to a lawsuit. You are open to the DMCA gods, the gods of these massive corporations saying, "We want our money, please. Give us money, please." And they will submit their takedown requests. They will get their damn money. To quote John Wick, or not John Wick, who's the other guy? I don't know, Liam Neeson. They have been given a very specific set of tools. They will find you. They won't kill you. They'll just get your money. They'll get your money. The thing that I find most interesting about the Twitch thing is on YouTube, it's very easy to understand what revenue they're getting. Because on YouTube, the only revenue you're really getting is from the YouTube advertisements. On Twitch, you will be getting a pre-roll ad, I believe, but also during the live stream, you get actual donations. You get money sent to you. So would these copyright holders have the authority or the right to go to Twitch or go to Amazon and say, "Hey, that person made $600 during the 3 minutes that they were playing my song. I want that money. Give me that money." I want to know how that would work. It's a very interesting predicament that Twitch is in. I don't know what the answer is. It's been a while since I've had to say this, but we will have to wait and see how that turns out. I would love to hear from you. What do you think will happen? Do you think that Twitch streamers will have to forego the actual bit donations that they receive if they do use copyrighted material during that song? Because on YouTube, they take the entire, all the money. I don't know how it works on Twitch. Let me know in the comments what you think. That is it for the news. Now we are going to jump to what you had to say. And the first comment comes from Bitch Inspector. Bitch Inspector, bro. Yeah, bro. Hang 10, bruh. Bruh. Yeah. Rad. I don't know what I'm doing. I apologize. They say at 9:01, quote, "I don't think this is going to end well." End quote. That comment right there could be construed as inciting violence. You basically just told your audience to go riot at YouTube headquarters. Bitch Inspector, bitch and brew. Yeah, what up, bro? Thank you very much for the comment. I appreciate you. I don't know why I have the desire to say your name like that. It's just a lot of fun. I got hang 10, bruh. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I know you're being facetious, but at the same time, that's exactly the point. That's the point I was trying to make. By making a prediction that something will not end well, that could easily be interpreted as me suggesting somebody go to a certain location and conduct themselves in a violent way. By even speaking about violence, by even speaking about negative ideas, by speaking about bigots and racists and authoritarians and Nazis and communists and fascists and all of them, that could very easily be interpreted as you putting the idea to go find these people and be violent towards them. It's a dangerous situation we're in now, isn't it? Here's my idea, and I think this is really gonna be a good one. I think this is gonna be one for the history books. All y'all, make sure to write this down in your little diary in your journal. I was there when Bandrew came up with the idea that saved the world. You ready for this? Here you go. We're going to create a council of censors. Let's go with censors to be succinct about it. A council of censors. Everything that is broadcast into the world, whether it be audio, video, or written word, it will be passed through the council of censors. On this council, not only will we have politicians, folks that we vote in, but we will also make sure to have a couple of psychologists and psychiatrists to ensure that we don't use any potentially inflammatory language, whether it be the word red, because red may cause somebody to go into a fit of rage. You don't know. You understand? You don't know what words may cause somebody to go into a fit of rage. Could it be you saying, I hate people who eat olives? By using the word hate, that could be conveying the idea that you think it's justified to go and be violent towards people who eat olives. This council will go ahead and go through everything that is broadcast into the world. And in the future, once this council is in place, we will get the wonderful morning news update. Today, the news is blue. Today, we love you. The government loves you. Big Brother loves you. You love Big Brother. Remember it. You are safe. You are sound. That's what it will be. And I have just saved the world. You could even call it the BCOC, Bandrew's Council of Censors. Beacock. What? Did not think that one through. There you go. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let's jump to the next one. Hopefully that will save me. Next comment comes from Radio Zalaza. They say, I haven't even heard about that Q thing until YouTube blocked this kind of content. Now I'm into it. Radio Z, thank you very much for the comment. And before I address your comments about Q, that idea that you're talking about is called the Streisand effect, if I am not mistaken. I am doing a lot of bunny ears in this episode. The idea of the Streisand effect is when somebody tries to take down or scrub something from the internet, all that does is draw the internet's attention to that thing and makes it even more popular and even more prevalent. And it sounds like you are a perfect example of that. YouTube said, we're going to ban QAnon. And then you said, what is QAnon? I'm going to go look that up. And then you found it. And it sounds like you're into that. I have no idea what Q is. I don't know what QAnon is. Is it something like X from the X-Files? Because I loved X from the X-Files. The only thing that I have been told about Q is from my commie friend. And they said, Q thinks that JFK Jr. faked his death. He's going to come back to life and he's going to run for VP, Vice President of the USA. That's all I know. That sounds a little bit bonkers, even for me, although I believe aliens exist. So I guess it's not that bonkers. It could happen. Who knows? Tupac could still be alive too. He's making so much money off that hologram, bro. What if, here's a conspiracy for you. What if the Tupac hologram is not actually a hologram? It is actually Tupac. He just has really good makeup to look like a hologram. All right? That would be crazy. I think I clipped my microphone. Okay, Radio Z, there you go. Thank you very much for the comment. I appreciate you. We got one more comment to go through, and it comes from Peter. He says, Hi, Bandrew. I get it that you're concerned about the takedown of more right-wing than left-wing videos. I'm clearly a leftist, and since I'm from Europe, I'm not talking about the majority of today's Dems. The Dems would be more or less considered a centrist conservative party here. But I'm also a huge fan of democracy, and I don't want to have different positions to be censored. Calling of violence is an exception, as well as hate speech, etc. Freedom of speech comes with responsibility. But ask yourself, why does such a policy hurt the right wing more? While there are crazy people on the left as well, the sheer amount of batshit crazy theories on the right is far higher. And look at the targets: Jews, blacks, gays, quote unquote, the radical left, and so on. And to have a look at domestic terror all over the world and compare the victim count. So as long as YouTube goes after all channels calling, promoting, or justifying violence, I'm fine with that. P.S. Really nice rack. Peter, thank you very much for the comment, and thank you very much for pushing back. I always have so much fun responding to comments that are challenging my ideas, and the first thing that I want to say is, how dare you? I am deeply offended that you made such a sexual advance at me, and I expect an apology next week in the comments. If you do not do this, I will be reporting you for sexual harassment. Keep that in mind, you absolute sexual deviant, you. Next. For anybody who didn't get it, nice rack. Come on. Secondly, to address the question of why do I think right-leaning channels and individuals are affected by these policies more than left-leaning channels, I think it's because, as I mentioned last week, the policies are enforced unevenly. I think there are a lot of people in these Silicon Valley companies who are more left-leaning, and they will have a slight bias towards left-leaning ideas. They will find them more acceptable, and they will find more right-leaning ideas less acceptable. They will find them more repulsive and be more willing to not censor those, but enforce their policies against those. Also, as far as the idea or the implication that right-leaning people are more likely to be calling for violence or advocating for violence online or being vitriolic, I don't necessarily agree with you. I will, of course, be basing this off my anecdotal evidence, and of all the time that I spend online, I have not seen any right-leaning people who are posting racist things on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook calling for violence. I have not seen any of that. It could be that we're running in completely different circles and frequenting different parts of the internet. I'm not sure, but I don't see that. I can tell you what I have seen is some left-leaning people who are calling for violence. They are calling for destruction of private property. They are being extremely vitriolic and using what you would define as hate speech, and they remain up. They remain active, and they are not having the rules or the policies enforced against them. If these are the rules and they are being applied against one group of people, they should be applied against all people. And I think the one piece of common ground that we can all agree on is if somebody online is calling for or advocating for violence, get rid of them. Get rid of them. That should not be allowed on any of these platforms because I'm pretty sure that's illegal. If you are actually calling for or advocating for violence, I think that may fall under the category of a threat, and I think that is illegal. I'm not 100%. I'm not a lawyer. Don't come to me for law advice. I'm not a lawyer. But with that being said, the entire point of my discussion or analysis last week was that the phrase used to justify real-world violence is completely different than calling for or advocating for real-world violence. Those ideas could not be more different. First, let's talk about calling for and advocating for real-world violence. Who is the person conducting themselves in a way that is ban-worthy? That would be the person speaking. If I were the person in question, I would be sitting here and advocating for and calling for violence. Go out and punch somebody in the face who likes eating olives on pizza. Olives are disgusting. That would be me specifically calling for and advocating for violence. In that situation, 100%, I would deserve to be banned. And for the record, I don't think you should punch somebody in the face who enjoys eating olives on pizza. I am using this as an example. Conversely, if we look at used to justify real-world violence, I could be sitting here and say, I really hate olives on pizza. I think people who eat olives on pizza are a little bit crazy. I think they're stupid. And some crazy person could be sitting there listening to my show, listening to me say those words and say, yeah, I hate people who eat olives on their pizza too. And then go to a pizzeria, find somebody eating pizza with olives on it and punch them in the face. Then that crazy person has the power. That's the thing that's absolutely bonkers to me. By saying we will ban any content used to justify real-world violence, how are they going to determine what content was used to justify real-world violence? They are going to have to ask that crazy person who is committing violence, and now what does that crazy person have? A magic wand. Why do I call it a magic wand? Because now they can point that magic wand at anybody on the internet and say, them. They are. Them. No, them. And guess what? Now, that channel has the ability to be banned by YouTube because it is being used to justify real-world violence. So now, this crazy person could sit there and think, oh, you know what? It really wasn't Ben Shapiro. It wasn't the Young Turks. It wasn't Destiny who made me think this was a good idea, but I really hate that person. I'm going to point this magic ban wand at them. The Young Turks made me do it. Now, the Young Turks, banned, based on YouTube's policy and the terminology used to justify real-world violence. That's the whole point that I was trying to make last week. I think calling for and advocating for real-world violence, absolutely ban-worthy. I think used to justify real-world violence is stupid. I think that is a stupid idea. I think it's a stupid phrase. And now you have given a crazy violent person the ability to say it was them and get any channel on YouTube banned. Why would we give them that power? That's stupid. That is stupid. Then you mention hate speech. I was debating with myself whether or not I even wanted to address this. I'm going to, and I understand there's mines all around me. And I'm not talking like Minecraft mines, I'm talking about landmines. This is dangerous territory. I don't think hate speech should be banned. First off, I am not 100% certain that everybody has the same definition of hate speech. There is a big issue with the idea of banning hate speech. If you want to be more clear about it, go for it, advocate for that. We'll see how that rolls out. But as far as hate speech in general, I say let it stay up. Let these bigots, let these racists, let these scumbag assholes speak their terrible, idiotic ideas. Because guess what we know now? That person over there, they're a bigot. I don't want to deal with bigots because bigots suck. I know I don't want to interact with that person. Secondly, when that person over there says, I believe in this bigoted idea, you have the opportunity to say, hey, that's a bad idea. Here's why. That is just wrong. That's a wrong idea because XYZ. That person may not listen initially, but now they have that seed planted in their head, and they're not just being banned and forced into these echo chambers of idiots where they sit there saying, I believe bigoted things. Then somebody across from them says, yeah, me too. I believe in bigoted things too. High five. Then that just reinforces their stupid ideas. And what are they going to do? They're going to spread it to their offspring. They're going to spread it to people that they know in the real world. So as far as hate speech, I don't think that it ought to be banned because I think it should be out in the open and in the sunlight. Everybody can say, look at what a bigot this person is. Look at how bad this idea is. Or to be more productive, here is why your idea is wrong. And then that person can learn and improve and hopefully learn to not be a bigot, scumbag, motherfucker, a piece of shit, who is a racist, a homophobe, any of these things. Fuck them. But that doesn't mean that we write them off and bury them under the church. We need to interact with these people still sometimes. Why not try to teach them to not be a piece of shit? That's my stance on it. And I think that's actually going to wrap up for today because I don't want to do any Ask Bandrew this week because this is the third time I've recorded this episode because the audio got corrupted. How fun! I love that so much! I didn't want to spend my Sunday any other way, other than recording a podcast 3 times. That's how I love spending my Sundays. I'm not going to talk to you before Halloween. I hope you have an amazing Halloween. Let me know what you're going to be if you're dressing up in the comments. Send me a tweet at Bandrew Says or at Geeks Rising. Send me an email, askbandrew@gmail.com or askbandrew.com. I hope you have an amazing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next Sunday I will talk at you and something profound. I love you. Bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.